Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Tough bumps we take, we rise again. Blood and grit, it's how we begin. Matt and Aaron fire up the flame. Wrestling lives on the Tough Bumps name.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Tough Bumps. My name is Matt Connerton, and of course with me, my partner in crime, Eric Pilcher. Eric, would you say you're kind of the Marty Jannetty to my Shawn Michaels, or how would you describe yourself in this equation?
Matt, don't you ever in your life compare me to Marty Jannetty.
All right, this is a poor analogy.
That's-
I apologize.
That is awful. Talk about one of your all-time pro wrestling train wrecks. Goodness gracious. Maybe like
You're the Eric
Maybe,
Pilcher to my Matt Connerton. How's that?
I mean, that works. I mean, if we're going with a wrestling analogy, what about the Brian Pillman to your Stone Cold?
Oh, well, that means you're going to die soon. That's not good.
No, I mean, I'm if we were to get kicked off the internet, it would be my fault. Like,
Really, you think so?
I would be the one to say something. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking, Eric Pincher takes over. It's like Jekyll and Hyde.
Eric Pincher, I heard that recently. I think someone noticed that we're doing this podcast because a certain someone is suddenly talking about you again who had not spoken your name in a while, but all of a sudden your name is back in this individual's mouth.
Haters are your biggest fans.
Yes.
And I mean, is what it is. Maybe the individual, maybe we can teach them a thing or two about how to do this. Maybe they'll learn something. I mean, I don't think they've learned how to attach an audio file to an email yet, but
probably not.
There's always hope.
There is
always hope.
There is hope. There is hope. Well, we should. So let's see. Oh, by the way, so last week's show, we got quite a few. I posted some individual clips and a lot of people checking out the John Cena versus Cody Rhodes conversation that we had. But I have to say something about that. Now, I don't know if you listened to Matt Connerton Unleashed this morning, but Charles Richardson was on and he agrees with me. So that's two of us. That's two of us who enjoyed that match out of however many millions of people saw it. I'm not alone on my little island.
It's a little island, believe me. Listen, I'll say this about the argument. And it wasn't even an argument; it was a debate.
Yeah, I use the word "argue" in the title because that gets clicks.
Well,
I'm not above clickbait.
Oh yeah. Oh, beautiful strategy. Look, the match served its purpose, but it just was, in my opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter for much. It just was bad. I mean, and I'm not going to rehash my whole point or the comparisons. I mean, it wasn't one of the worst, but you hold a main event to a higher standard.
Mhm.
And to me, that match did not even come close to that standard. Um, it just, yeah, to me, it didn't do it for me. If it did it for others, such as you and Charles, that's okay. That's what's great about pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Everyone can have a different viewpoint on it. I just, I don't know. I thought Cody deserved better.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's my takeaway from it. And I mean, they got where they wanted to go. Fine. I don't necessarily agree with it, but AEW has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever.
Oh, yeah. I saw this. Yeah. This idea.
Y- Oh, oh man.
Make Ric Flair an 18-time world champion.
Yeah, oh man,
That'd be
John Moxley versus Ric Flair would be, oh boy.
no, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to see that. But
Yeah.
of course, by some counts, Flair's reigns are actually, it depends on who you ask. Because he does have, for people who don't know, when Ric Flair was NWA champion, and then WC. Well, I guess this would have been when he was NWA champion, technically, when they would do the thing where he would go overseas, like lose the title in a title match somewhere in Europe, and then win it back at the next show. And of course, in America, we didn't even count that as a win. He's probably got more than he's probably got something like 29 world title reigns total, if you actually count all those that we don't really count, that we just kind of wink wink forget about. You know what I mean? All those wins.
Well, and here's the deal: is there was a title, and I would have to look at cagematch.net to see the lineage of the title and see
Mm-hmm.
if it's even counted. WCW had an international title,
I remember that.
and I think Flair won it either once or twice. It was just hot shotted overseas so much.
Yeah.
I
I
I
just
think
remember Rick Rude. Rick Rude, I remember
Rick
being the
Rude had it.
international champion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rick Rude was kind of the standard. I think Brian Pillman might have won it once.
Mm,
But when Rick Rude won it, they counted it as a world title.
yeah.
Now, I do notice in wrestling a lot of the time, we have a very limited uh scope on, well, yeah, like we attribute world championships to some wrestlers,
Hmm.
and we shouldn't attribute it as a world championship just to say, oh, this legendary guy won a world championship. I think that's the case with the international title in Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Look, and I'm sure we'll have to talk about Rick Rude at some point.
Yeah.
Uh, um, because I mean, man, one of the greatest heels of all
Oh.
time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, and just g- a vic, a total victim of his era.
Mm.
And I actually, when we do Rick Rude, you will have to remind me. I have an amazing Rick Rude story,
Oh, okay.
heard from Jake the Snake Roberts.
Okay. Okay.
That
I will.
that that is just, I I don't think I'll ever forget it, because you can actually, you I went to one of Jake's one man shows
Hmm.
and heard him tell the story. And to me, when you feel a story is so true, is when you can visualize it happening
Oh yeah.
as someone is telling it to you.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here visualizing this happening.
Mm.
So
Okay.
yeah, him and Jake, like everyone sits here and says how great the 80s were because they had Hogan and they had Warrior and all it, you know, Hogan doesn't get over without the monster heels.
Right. Oh yeah.
Um, Rude, although Hogan didn't work with Jake, Jake Undertaker. They had some monster heels that really helped get baby faces over.
Yeah.
Even Savage was an excellent heel.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we should talk about, speaking of getting over or not getting over, we should talk about we hadn't originally planned on this, but last night, so we're recording this on Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. Last night, WWE they do this every year, of course, right after WrestleMania. There's a lot of releases, a lot of people they release from the company. And a lot of these really surprised me. Looking for a full list of talent because
I
some of these.
have it. I have it right here,
Oh,
Matt.
let's go through them, shall we? Because you've got the full list. Should we start with Braun Strowman?
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, here's the deal. Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Caden Carter, and Katana Chance departed the company.
Mm-hmm.
NXT stars Cora Jade, Jakara Jackson, Riley Osborne, Javier Bernal, Oro Mensa, Gigi Dolan, Eddie Thorpe, and Gallus were cut from the roster. Those that were cut from the main roster, this is very important. Those that were on the main roster and cut have 90-day non-compete clauses.
Yes.
Those from NXT have 30 days.
There was someone, right? And for those who don't know, that means that they can't go work for AEW or any other promotion until
They
they're
can't go to New Japan. They can't even go to New Japan, All Japan.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they get paid. They do get paid for this remaining time, of course.
Okay, that's another point.
Yeah.
They get their downside guarantee.
Yeah. It's almost like a severance package in a way, if you think about
it. It is. Their downside guarantee is just their base rate. Like if what a downside guarantee is basically if you are injured, WWE will pay you, but it's at X amount. They're saying like if you don't make any money off of merchandise, premium live event numbers or anything like that, or bonuses, this is what we are guaranteed to pay you.
Yeah.
It's WWE's minimum wage, except it's attributed to each individual talent. And it's based on what they think they're worth on the open market.
Right.
So now keep in mind, NXT, they don't make much money because realistically, WWE pays for their trans, WWE pays for their hotels, and WWE really covers the major expenses for them. When you're on the main roster, unless they're a top level guy or girl, they have to cover their transportation, rent-a-cars, hotel rooms, all of that. That's on them.
Yeah.
Their flights are covered, but they're crap flights, they're red-eye flights.
Yeah. There was somebody, I forget who it was, maybe you remember. There was somebody a number of years ago who had been called up from NXT to the main roster and then got released. And they were actually able to, after only 30 days, they were actually able to work somewhere else because apparently there was some sort of like somebody forgot to update the contract when they went to the main roster. So instead of having 90 days, they had 30 days because somehow they had fallen through the cracks with their contract. So they were able to work somewhere else after only 30 days. And do you remember who that was? Because I can't remember.
Kyle O'Reilly.
It was. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
just fell through
Kyle
the cracks that way.
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
No, I might be wrong. It's one of the members of Undisputed. It's either Kyle O'Reilly or Roderick Strong.
Okay. Yeah.
It's or Bobby Fish. It's one of those three.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
Adam Cole, no way would that have ever happened.
right. Right. So we should talk about, Charles and I actually talked about it a little bit on my show this morning. Braun Strowman, I feel like they kind of, Jenny was disappointed. Jenny really likes Braun Strowman. I do too. I think everyone likes him, but we kind of both, I think Charles and I both felt that they'd kind of done all they could with him.
You're using everyone very loosely.
Well, I mean, just generally though, like I never hear anyone say, "Oh, Braun Strowman, I hate that guy."
Look, there's a quote, and I feel bad saying this because he's one of those guys that he does do a lot charity, but a lot behind the scenes, and does a lot even in I believe his hometown of Waukesha. Does a lot within the community. The saying is, and then the bell rang. I mean,
Yeah, his matches were never anything special.
a $1 million look.
He's in his 40s now.
10-cent mic skills, 2-cent wrestling ability.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't a lot you can do with a guy like him that just never gets better in the ring.
Yeah.
You can only put him with certain guys. You're not gonna put him in a feud with a great wrestler like LA Knight
Right.
or Drew McIntyre, although him and Drew, I believe they feuded. His golden run was when he had that run against Roman Reigns, and
Hmm.
that worked because Roman is is a bigger guy, but sells very well. But once that story ran its course, it's like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
There just wasn't anywhere for him to go. And look, I think he'll find work elsewhere.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily AEW. I'm thinking maybe indie scene, Game Change Wrestling might be able to do a lot of things with him. MLW possibly.
Yeah.
There's options for him, and there'll be options for all of these people. I mean,
Oh
for
yeah.
crying out loud, I doubt Shayna Baszler is going to be hurting. Game Change is probably already contacted people connected to her
Yeah.
because she would be such a good asset for the Josh Barnett Bloodsport
Hmm.
events.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The one that shocked me, the one that I was like, what are you doing, is Dakota Kai.
I know. Yeah, that one really surprised me.
I mean, man, I don't think AEW does a great job of telling stories,
Right.
but she just seems like the perfect female to go to AEW
I
and
agree.
succeed. And because she wrestles well, she's very good at doing the high spots, and so I don't. I think the AEW WWE competition is over.
Hmm.
If anyone ever felt it was competition, I think, and we'll get into it. I think during this episode about their missteps
Yeah.
they've had,
Yeah.
because it does correlate to our subject.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that shocked me. Dakota Kai shocked me.
Yeah.
The rest, I mean, I'd heard good things about Eddie Thorpe. Heard good things. I mean, seen good things from Cora Jade.
Yeah, that one
Um,
surprised me. I thought she was getting to be pretty big in NXT, and Eddie Thorpe too. I haven't watched NXT in a while, but my impression was they were doing a lot with both of those people.
I think the big thing here is unfortunately, too many fish are in the pond.
Oh yeah,
And, there's something not a lot of people have talked about. LFG is almost over.
yeah,
You're going to need legends and future greats, the show on A&E that showcases the individuals that are in developmental, not showcased on NXT.
right,
But you're going to need some place for those people to go and continue showcasing them.
right.
So
True.
there's just not enough TV time, and you have to decide, hey, is this person where are we going to go, not just a month from now? And this is where one of AEW's major faults is. Where are we going to go with this one person, not just 1 month from now, but 12 months from now,
Hmm.
2 years from now? What does the future hold for them? Where do we see them? And if you're sitting there and you're just kind of drumming at the table while you're trying to figure out what are we going to do with these people, then you got to let them go. And it's a sucky part of the business, but the key word is business. It is a business.
Well, I also think too they can afford to let people go and let them kind of go and find themselves, and kind of like Drew McIntyre, for example. I think they probably feel like they can afford to do that because if you go back to when AEW started.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
WWE tried to lock down a lot of their talent, and they were just kind of like, they went on a signing spree, just trying to like sign everybody to, try to keep as many people as possible away from AEW. But AEW has fumbled things so badly at this point. I think WWE probably feels like, well, we can afford to let people go. And if they go to AEW and they find some success there, great. So what? Once they go there, once they've been there for a while and they have built themselves up and they've, expanded their careers and so much, when their contract is up there, if we feel like it, we'll grab them back. But WWE is so far ahead of the game now. AEW was a challenger brand from the beginning, but they've lost so much steam, and WWE under the creative direction of Triple H has improved so much that I think they can comfortably say, yeah, we'll let somebody like Dakota Kai, she can go do a couple of years in AEW, and then if she becomes an even bigger star, then maybe we'll bring her back, or maybe we won't. But I think they can kind of relax on that a little bit and stop worrying about, we gotta lock everybody down. They don't need to lock everybody down.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes Jim Ross, the greatest
I know the quote you're going to
wrestling
use. Yeah.
announcer of all time, sometimes you got to go learn a new hold.
Yep. Go learn a new hold and come back. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you're 100% right, Matt. That's exactly what you have to do here. As much as we've talked about Dakota Kai, Cora Jade, response to both of them has tempered. And, the big thing in this business, there's a lot of things, but one of the bigger things is once you have the fans, how do you keep the fans?
Mm-hmm.
Because wrestling fans are so fickle.
Oh yeah.
Once they cheer you, they'll buy the t-shirts, but if you don't do anything for 2 major events,
Mm-hmm.
those t-shirts sit in the closet in the dresser drawer.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, okay, what do we do now? And we don't know the behind the scenes stuff with these
Right.
individuals.
Oh yeah. There's a lot
we don't
we
know.
don't know, and
We
never
don't
will
know,
in some cases.
I mean, realistically, they get to have one of the greatest backstage workers, one of the greatest workers of all time. And it pains me to say that. I mean, I've softened my stance on him over the years, but Shawn Michaels,
Hmm.
um, he's they get to learn from him. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
how do you not go elsewhere and just kind of take what Sean has taught you
Hmm.
and
Right.
really and do well? I mean, so I think the future can still be bright for a majority of these individuals.
Yeah.
Um, I the one that I'm leery on is Braun Strowman. His
Yeah, just
age.
because he's older now, and not that that matters as much as it used to. Geez, nowadays, you're when
But
you're
for
when you're in your 40s, you're in your prime in the wrestling business. It's kind of weird how that's changed.
for a guy his size, though,
Yeah.
it really is. For a guy his size and his injury history,
Hmm.
he has had a few
True.
major injuries.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's how, if I'm AEW, MLW, Impact, I'm looking at this and how much do I invest
Hmm.
into
Yeah.
this man? You know, what
Yeah.
do I put into him? And I'm sorry to say that, but that's got to be something that that we're looking at.
Yeah. Jakara Jackson really surprised me.
NXT cuts outside the names I've said don't really shock me because they're developmental.
I know,
I
but
mean,
she had appeared on the main roster with Lash Legend and looked great, and the whole Meta Girls thing. I thought she was on her way to the main roster. I did not think she was on her way to getting cut. That one really surprised me.
I mean, she's not the first that's happened to.
No, certainly not. But I did
Um,
not expect
I mean,
that.
my goodness, look at what they did to Sonya Deville. Hey, we're putting you in this major angle. We're
Uh,
giving you a stable. And then 2 weeks later, bye.
yeah,
I mean, it happens. And again, we don't know if there was something that, and I'm not saying there is,
right.
but you never know. There could have been something backstage. There could have been just they're not ready.
Yeah,
Or they could have just been like, they could have felt they're not ready for the call up or the pressure. And Nick Khan, uh, Hunter, Sean had to make a decision. And do we send them back to NXT? Don't know where they really fit in those plans. They're not really ready for up here.
yeah.
Well, there's only one thing to do. Time to go learn a new hold.
Um, Kalani Jordan and Katana Chance, they were released, right?
Yep.
Isn't Kalani Jordan, isn't she Damian Priest's girlfriend?
I believe so. Look, relationships really don't.
That's gotta suck.
To I, I mean, look at Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews.
Yeah.
They're married.
Yeah.
I mean, they see each other 2 days a week because
Yeah.
of the schedules. I mean, look,
Well, he's gonna end up back in WWE eventually anyway, I'm sure.
maybe not.
I
I
think
mean,
so.
I look, I was a big supporter of AEW. Um, there are things that have been done. And again, this is what we in the business call a segue. We'll
Yeah.
talk about it in this episode.
Yeah.
Uh, but just so many things they've done where I'm like, I don't even watch it anymore. To be honest with you, I, because it's like, one, your times change because of sports.
Oh yeah.
Because of the two, the people I like and the people that I think are stars. And to be fair, a majority of wrestling fans are like, this guy is a star. You have mired in the mid card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I know he's a star. You're paying him like he's a star, but yet you're just giving us the same matches we have seen, and you're pushing these geriatric wrestlers when guys like, and I'll name drop him right here, Maxwell Jacob Friedman should be your world champion.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
guys like, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay. You mean to tell me that if you took Will Ospreay versus MJF, and you did, and I doubt Tony Khan listens to this, but if you do, Tony, I'm going to speak slowly for you because so you can understand this and get a grasp of what wrestling is. You take two guys, you build something called a program with them. You build it, and they have to be on TV every week, Tony. I know that's hard.
Yeah.
You have these guys that come in and do vignettes and sit at home for 3 weeks, then show up again. Can't do that. You can't be their buddy. You got to be their boss.
Yeah.
Tell them they have to be there, and you build it up, and then they have something called a match on a pay-per-view and something else called the main event. And you know what? They tear the house down, but they leave you wanting more. So then you go to the next
Yeah.
month and Tony, I know this is hard, Tony. Just follow me here. Write it down if you have to. If you need pictures, leave a comment on the video. I'll draw it out for you. Then you do a rematch.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
But I'm gonna stop because his head might have exploded.
Yeah. What was
I
there
don't
anybody?
know.
What's
Could I
that?
have been a little unfair to Tony there?
It's going to be unfair to him. He's a billionaire who gives a shit about his feelings. I don't. Um, whatever.
F you if you Matt Connerton, F you if you have money.
Well, that is a general vibe in the country these days. But anybody else you were surprised by on that list of
Not
releases? Or
not really. I
Yeah.
mean, I think a lot of pro wrestling fans are so jaded anymore when it comes to releases.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Move on. It's a business. And they're a corporation now. TKO is always looking to cut,
Oh yeah.
cut, cut, cut. And UFC a month ago cut 20 fighters.
Oh, I didn't know that. Although
Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me because, I mean, at UFC though, tell me if I'm wrong because I haven't followed it closely in a very long time. UFC, I would imagine they go through a lot of fighters anyway, right? Because it's not like wrestling. I mean, UFC is not scripted, so and people, fighters tend to have short careers, right? Because of the brutality of the sport that they participate in. So I would imagine UFC runs through a lot of talent at a much faster rate. I would assume. Am I correct about that? Or
I would say you're correct. I mean, they have a show a week now.
yeah,
I mean, whether it's on ESPN Plus or ESPN or Fight Pass or
Yeah.
ESPN pay-per-view. Their ESPN deal is over, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it's also you lose 2 or 3 fights in a row. Generally speaking, you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unforgiving, but again, combat sports is more generated on performance
Right.
than pro wrestling is. Because in pro wrestling, guys can stay around if they hit two out of whatever indicators.
Hmm.
You can suck in the ring, but if you can cut a promo
Hmm.
and you can sell merchandise, you're probably going to stick around.
Yep. Yep.
If you can wrestle well and you have a fan base, but your promos suck and you do a decent job moving merch, you're gonna,
Yeah.
whatever is so UFC doesn't have those opportunities per se
Right.
where you're gonna move merch or you're judged by your record and then your pay-per-view buy rates.
Hmm.
And if you're not selling pay-per-view, you better win.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson is a prime example of that. Unmarketable, but heaven for God's sakes, guy was a dominant champion, just not marketable.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Where in WWE, it's like, okay, well, a guy like that probably doesn't stick around long.
Well, and it's easy to determine, right? Because the key indicator above all else would be merch. So if you're selling merch, you stick around. If you're not, you don't. Uh,
I mean, that's probably what
Ultimately,
saved. That's probably what saved Roman Reigns for the longest time.
sure, sure,
Is he moved merch?
yeah,
And that's the thing.
yeah.
If you're in WWE, it, if you're going to compare WWE and UFC, best way to compare it would be merch versus pay-per-view buys.
Hmm.
That's kind of the indicator.
But I think merch is the best indicator though, because merch gives you an idea of how, like, if a pay per view scores a big number, yeah, you can say, well, maybe it was probably the main event had a factor, but who else was on the card? And you have to kind of try to suss that out. Whereas with merch sales, that gives you a hard, concrete number. This person sold this much merch in this quarter. This person sold this much. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like that would be the absolute best indicator, not necessarily about where you want to go long term in terms of storylines and whatnot, but if you want a snapshot of who's actually performing right now, merch is it. I mean, I can't think of anything else that would give you a better metric than that.
Right. And that's a very good point. And I do agree with that. I mean, and another thing I just thought of, UFC doesn't have quote unquote go home heat
Right.
where where the crowd is the barometer. I mean, and I know this guy has got to be one of your favorite people in the world. You put Colby Covington on a UFC event.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
It's going to sell. Dana White doesn't care why it's going to sell.
I don't remember I know who he is, but I don't remember why you said you were probably being sarcastic.
Oh yeah, he's a diehard Donald Trump supporter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very very, very demonstrative in his. He fought in Brazil, and after he won the fight in Brazil, called everybody in the audience a piece of trash and said your country's a dump.
Wow,
I,
that's just rude.
I mean, but again, Dana White doesn't care.
No.
But in
Well, that's
WWE,
that's good heat,
but
right?
I was just gonna say that could, in some areas, generate go home heat,
Mm.
which an individual we're going to talk about here very quickly received on the very first WWE on Netflix. At
Yep.
least I think he received go home heat.
Oh yeah. Those fans were not happy to see him. You know, because it's like I always say, and you know, when we talk about heat, go home heat versus, you know, the kind of heel heat that you want, you know, what people who are not wrestling fans might not realize is, you know, it's not that you're supposed to hate the bad guys. You're supposed to love to hate the bad guys. And when Hogan came out, he wasn't even supposed to be a bad guy. He wasn't supposed to be a heel, but they just hated him, and they didn't love to hate him. They just hated him. They just wanted him to go away. They wanted nothing to do with him when he came out on the debut of Raw on Netflix. They wanted nothing to do with that guy. And they let him know.
Oh, yeah. People, Undertaker said it best on his podcast. People don't forget. You know,
Well,
I
people do though. Well, people are generally, I think people in American culture generally are very forgiving, and
it
people
depends.
like a redemption story. People like a comeback story. People like redemption. We're very big
But
fans of
are you
redemption, but Hogan but there's a limit, right? There's a limit.
you have to be actively seeking redemption though.
Yeah, or right.
There has to be some contrition in your quest for redemption.
Yeah, and
Like,
Hogan's never quite been able to do that. Like he tends to paint himself as more of a victim.
I mean, look, and some people are going to sit here and say, yeah, "Oh, you're talking about his sex tape." I don't give a damn about the sex tape. I've
That's
never
not the problem people have with it.
I've never watched it. I never have a desire to watch
Oh
it.
God, no.
It's uh, if anything, I think it gives him a smidge of you know, people feeling bad for him because of the
Sure.
circumstances surrounding it, and makes Bubba the Love Sponge look like a piece of garbage, which Bubba the Love Sponge is a piece of garbage. Um, s- but that's neither here nor there. What I look at is you. He said some very disgusting racial statements,
Hmm.
and his apology was up there with Dog the Bounty Hunters
Yeah.
in just the level of total tone deafness
Hmm.
in what you said. Like, I believe his apology. I'm not even going to look it up because it was so canned and it just boilerplated that it doesn't matter. Was so just no contrition, and I think it was pretty much it. I grew up in an area where I could talk like this. And I was from a time where you could talk like this. But that time is not now.
Not only is that time not now, but I don't think that place ever existed. Where was this place that people like him talk about where as a white person you could just go around using the N-word and everybody was cool with it? I don't think not only is that time not now, but I don't think that time ever was.
I
Except
look,
maybe, maybe in the South. But
and that's
you know
where
what
I
I'm
was
saying though.
going. That's where I was going to go with this.
Yeah.
Hogan did grow up in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And there is a very strong Southern view in Tampa.
Sure.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Could it have been said as commonly as hello? Absolutely. But was it accepted?
No, that
It
I mean,
was-
my
it wa-
BS
it
meter
was-
red lines when he or anyone else like him tries
When-
to
when-
use
when-
that excuse. Come on.
When we say accepted, we're I don't know.
He's just walking around in Tampa, Florida with what do they call that? A pass. You know, you're white, but we'll
pass.
let you say it. Come on. It's you,
No,
you know
I'm
he's
saying
full of shit.
I'm saying when he was growing up,
Yeah.
that it was probably said ad nauseum.
By white
and
people?
not-
I don't believe him.
I
don't
mean,
buy it.
in the 50s.
I don't buy it. No.
I-
Around other white people, maybe. But
That's what I'm saying, Matt.
Yeah.
Is I mean, and in that era, again, I'm gonna say this, and I do not agree with it. It
Yeah.
is wrong. African Americans just had to deal with it. You're not going to go to the cops and say, hey, this person called me this. It's a hate crime. Cops going to probably call you the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's wrong. It's disgusting. It's reprehensible. So, yeah, I mean,
But-
Hogan's statement is, I'm not going to say it's wrong. I'm going to say it's hyperbole, that he would say it was that he feels it was accepted. No, it wasn't accepted. It was
Right.
just tolerated. There is a difference between tolerance and acceptance. There's a
Well, yeah.
very, very big difference, and people did it. Doesn't make it right, and certainly doesn't make it right now, and certainly doesn't make it right to victimize your daughter for dating a black man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, so yeah, and there's a lot of other things like
Oh,
that Hogan has done.
one
even-
more thing though about that, because you're referring to the comments of him being recorded because Brooke was dating a black guy and Hogan had a problem with him. That's where all that came from. The thing that Hogan said, this is something that really gets under my skin that Hogan said, and this is part of why I'm angry about him. I get so angry whenever I hear someone do what Hogan did and then say this statement. Well, we're all a little bit racist, right? That
No,
infuriates me whenever I hear someone say that. And partly because I've heard so many people say that, like I don't just mean celebrities who got caught being racist, but just people I've known who have used that excuse with me. Well, Matt, we're all a little bit racist. No, screw you. We are not all just a little bit racist. And I get very angry whenever someone tries to project that onto me to make themselves feel better. No, you are racist, Hulk Hogan. We are not all just a little bit racist. Don't
I think,
put
I
me in
think
the same
we're-
pool as you. You know what I mean? I hate that.
and
It
that's fair, but
infuriates me.
a touch of devil's advocacy here.
Yeah.
I think where they get that from is, again, it's a thing of hyperbole and to in their head justify it.
Oh, of
They-
course. Yeah.
They do this because
No, that is why.
we are all guilty of laughing at an off-color joke.
Sure.
We are all guilty of laughing at a racial statement in stand-up comedy. That doesn't equate us all being racist, but in
Right.
their head, oh, well, you're just as bad as me.
Yeah. They're grasping
Yeah.
at an equivalency
Yeah,
to make
it's a
themselves feel better. Yeah.
Yup. And it's like, well, no, We're not saying it. Is laughing at it wrong? Yes. And I will say that I'm guilty of it, but there's also been, at some point in time, a period of reflection where
Sure.
you go back and you're like, that's wrong. I should
Yeah.
not have laughed at that.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to my initial point. There has to be that period of, the contrition and understanding and realization you were wrong. That's really how you get to redemption,
Yeah.
which Hogan has never gotten. And look, I think before we get too deep into the woods, we could probably go to the next news article because we're already talking about one of the key players.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, the Hogan's latest venture with Eric Bischoff and this other guy I'm not even familiar with, Izzy
Izzy
Martinez. Is
Izzy Martinez,
yes,
yes.
yes. They're
He's
new.
coached 9 state champions, or he's won. I believe Eric Bischoff misspoke. He said he's won 9 state championships. I think you can only win 1 state championship a year for 4
Oh,
years. I
okay,
think
yeah.
he meant he's coached 9 state champions. Um, and he's coached 8 UFC world champions, and it's like, okay, but coaching 8 UFC world champions can mean a variety of different things. He could have been, you're insinuating he's the lead coach.
Do you think Bischoff even wants to do this, or do you think he just feels some sort of obligation to Hogan?
I don't know. Eric Bischoff doesn't feel obligated to anyone. To be,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's weird. And I actually
um,
like Eric Bischoff. I mean, I
I
don't
do
agree with
like him
him
as well.
on a lot of things, but
I actually watched in preparation of this their appearance on Fox and Friends,
oh,
and
did you?
uh, they probably would have been better off just letting Eric talk. In all actuality,
Well, Eric's a very
um,
smart, articulate guy.
very, very, and I have no shame in saying it. He's a damn handsome man.
He
Like,
is, yes. And I've read
it,
his book, of course, as I'm sure you have too. Controversy Creates Cash.
2 books now.
I haven't read the other one. What's the other one?
Grateful, which is amazing. I
Oh, is
can't.
it? Is it good? I haven't read it.
It's very good. Like, you look, his first book, he said this on 83 weeks, which, again, I would advise anyone out there, listen to 83 weeks if you're big into the Monday Night Wars.
Hmm.
Eric really, very rare for someone of his history that in wrestling to be totally, uh, to just be totally transparent.
Hmm.
And he is. He will tell you when he screwed up. He will
Yeah.
tell you when he didn't. He will tell you whose idea it was. If it was a bad idea and it was his, he'll own it. If it was Kevin Sullivan, rest in peace, Kevin, or Terry Taylor, he will tell you. If it was a miscommunication, he will tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the second book is definitely better than the first book,
Okay.
in my opinion. You can definitely tell WWE
Oh, yeah. In the first book.
had
Yeah.
fingerprints.
Yeah. Yeah.
His documentary, which I do own on Blu-ray, is phenomenal. Just to hear him talk. And
Mhm.
he is actually coming to Waterloo in July
Oh.
to be inducted into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I am hoping to go and get to meet him.
Yeah.
And because just one of the great minds and revolutionized the business
Yeah.
with his idea on, and you can disagree with some of the things he did, but
Oh, oh, of course.
he whipped Vince McMahon's ass for
For 83 weeks.
83 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
No other promoter, no other creative mind can stake claim to beating Vince for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
let alone a year and a half.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, I hear people try to discredit him, namely the King of the Bros.
Oh yeah, they
And
don't
it's
like each
like,
other, obviously. Yeah,
well, they
Russo and
don't,
Bischoff.
because one's an idiot and a buffoon, and the other is Eric Bischoff.
Right.
So that would be why. Um, I like Eric's point on this real American freestyle wrestling. A lot of these individuals don't have options.
Hmm.
They wrestle since they're 5. They graduate from college. It's either you're good enough to be in the Olympics, or realistically, that's it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So this does give them an outlet. My concern is not really a concern, because we're not PG-13 on
Mm.
this, because fuck Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Um, what does this do to Hulk's Legends deal? This
Oh,
could be seen as a competitive company to TKO.
that's
Think
true.
about this.
That
They're going.
didn't even occur to me. Yeah, you're right.
I thought about that. Look, they're going to be taking individuals that could be signing with NXT while still in college.
Yeah.
NIL, they can do that. They're going to be taking individuals that could go to the UFC.
Yeah.
They could be on the Ultimate Fighter. Does Nick Khan and Paul Levesque, Triple H, use this as a prime opportunity to cut and run?
Which they'd probably love to do, wouldn't they?
At this point, I mean, what do you do with Hulk?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put him on TV or Netflix, obviously. His Real American Beer, from what I've read, a lot of people say it's totally crap.
Hmm.
Um, eh,
He's so
I get,
toxic. What?
yeah, that's exactly it.
You don't need him around.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're
I
TKO.
just or do you just let him keep collecting Legends residuals and, like, you know what? Let's just wait till this company blows up, not in a good way.
That's what I predict. Because I
And
have to believe that their lawyers, the whatever legal team they've hired for this business, this new venture, they had to have made some sort of determination whether or not they thought that this would violate Hogan's contract, or right. I mean, they had to have
yeah,
thought of that, right?
it's Hulk Hogan. I mean,
No, but I mean,
I
but Bischoff is going to hire, if he's in charge of hiring the lawyers, he's going to hire
well,
competent lawyers.
it depends on what Hogan's true involvement is.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, so there's a lot of things. Now, do I wish them to fail? There's some of me that's like, oh my God.
Well, Hogan
Again,
certainly.
yeah, fuck
Hogan
Hulk
failing
Hogan.
is just, that's just karma.
Or as he said on Pat McAfee, Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
There are so many jokes I could tell right now based off yeah, I firmly believe that was Hulk on Pat McAfee. It sounds like him.
Yeah.
Um so yeah. Just the whole thing was just like, what the hell are we doing?
Now, is it
Like
actually called Real American? I guess I didn't.
yes, Real American Freestyle Wrestling.
Yeah, what a goofy title. Do you think they went with that
Well,
just because that's the same name as the beer and they wanted to be consistent with branding? Real American Freestyle Wrestling. Well, ESPN's just going to be so proud to carry something called Real American Freestyle Wrestling, aren't they? They're going to be chomping at the bit. Fox Sports, they're going to
I
gobble
don't,
that right up.
they don't even have a TV deal.
No, that's.
I mean,
who's going to want this?
their first event is August 30th in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, is it at a rec center? Is it at a bingo hall? Where are they doing
I
this?
think it's at Quicken Loans Arena.
Oh, for a second I thought you were going to say it was at the Quicken Loans office. Quicken Loans Arena? Okay.
Which is where I know you're not big into sports ball, Matt.
Yeah.
Which is where the Cleveland Cavaliers play from the NBA.
I've heard of them. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So it's pretty big.
Okay.
Allegedly they have over 40 individuals signed to this.
Yeah.
That's something else gathered. But like, and then I just watched Hogan go out there and he was like, he did the Hulk Hogan painting his beard black for Fox and Friends. Like, I'm just like, oh my word. And I'll say this, I'm not familiar with Izzy Martinez,
Yeah.
but Izzy came off as a guy that's really invested in this project.
Yeah.
He seemed like a good guy. I just don't know much about him. And
I don't know anything about him. Yeah.
Eric Bischoff wants this to succeed, but my word, I get why you need Hulk Hogan, name recognition and everything, but man, is he just toxic? I mean, even
Yeah.
recently, to sit there with your girlfriend or wife who looks like your daughter eating popcorn while laughing at your ex-wife's mental breakdown on Facebook Live. Like, what? I don't care what anyone has done to me. That's a level of pettiness and hatred I would never want to achieve.
Yeah.
Like, how can you live being that miserable?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is a guy, too, that tried to put himself over the day Scott Hall died.
Yeah.
I mean, so nothing he does should shock us. Like, there are so many things in regards to just being a certified piece of shit that Hulk Hogan has done that, you know what? I I know what you've done for the business, but fuck you, Hulk.
Wow.
Seriously.
Well,
Fuck you. Like, same with Ric Flair. I said this to my cousin Austin. It's so, so disturbing that two of the biggest icons in our sport, and to talk about them together, we
mhm.
have to ask what is worse? Worse, horribly racist statements, blaming a guy that your son turned into a vegetable basically in a car accident, or alleged probable sexual assault on a stewardess.
Oh, with Flair. Yeah.
Like, these are two of the biggest icons in this business,
Yeah.
and that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have personal issues with Flair, going from when I met him at Ring of Honor to him screwing over Ring of Honor.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, he almost, if it wasn't for Sinclair, he would have bankrupted Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have AEW because realistically, it took the Bullet Club saving Ring of Honor from that.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for this? It's hard to even say it. This Real American Freestyle
mean,
Wrestling.
I don't have one. I mean, it's because it's going to depend on if they get a TV deal, pay-per-view, wrestlers involved. You're going to need big name guys. You're not going to be able to just get a bunch of jabronis from college and throw them in. You're going to need names. And, to me, the next Olympics are coming up, I believe 2026. You're going to have a lot of big name wrestlers preparing for the trials and world championships. And,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are going to, like, how much money are you going to throw at them to say screw the Olympics? Because the Olympics are very political, all in itself.
Yeah.
The Olympics are very political. You tell the Olympics F off, they can make it very hard for you to qualify again.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, it's athletic ability. They can make it hard for you. They
Yeah.
can put you in a tough bracket. They can they can give you, oh, you have the last match on this night, but the first match the next morning.
Hmm.
There's things they can do to screw you over.
Oh yeah.
So those are career missteps that these individuals are going to have to analyze.
Hmm.
And, I don't know. I've never had anyone say to me, Eric, you know what sports needs? A professional freestyle wrestling league.
Yeah.
I mean, and are they going to be able to compete with the money and exposure that the UFC can offer them?
No.
Like,
No.
these are all questions. And look, if people want to watch it, Godspeed, enjoy. I mean, if it's on cable TV and I can get it on YouTube TV, I may watch it, just see what's
Sure.
what.
Out of curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pay to watch it. I'm
Well,
not going to go. I'm not going to go out of my way and pay for a subscription service to watch it. I'm
yeah.
not going to pay even $10 to watch it on DAZN.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. And
Yeah.
a lot of it stems from who is really the mouthpiece of this. And I just think he's a garbage human being.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, and some people will say, oh, it's because he has beef with Bret Hart. Yeah, that's some of it.
Sure.
But there's a lot more to it. And I don't realistically like supporting anything that has Hulk Hogan's involvement.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. And I think
Yeah.
I've been abundantly clear on my feelings of Hulk.
Well, you certainly have. Yes. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Well, we can move on and talk about somebody we actually do like the main
Yes.
the main event.
Yes, the voice of the voiceless, just the Second City Saint.
Yes.
Um y- Philip Jack Brooks,
Yes.
CM Punk,
What does the CM stand for? Does anybody know, or is he?
Chicago made.
That's what it stands for. Really? He's confirmed that himself. I never
Well,
knew.
for the longest time when he was in the Indies, and he would say like Cookie Monster Punk or something.
Yeah.
But he was a member of a team in his backyard wrestling federation called the Chick Magnets with
That I
Mike
knew about.
Venom.
Yeah.
And he was CM Punk and CM Venom.
Okay.
So it originally was Chick Magnet. I think as he's gotten older and wiser and less snarky, um, still love Punk to death. And we'll get into why.
Mhm.
There's a lot of reasons why. Um, that he settled on Chicago made, which makes
Yeah.
sense because he loves Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I mean, anytime he goes to Chicago, they love him.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've been a fan for a lot less than you have because I know that you followed his early career and in Ring of Honor and various places and whatnot. I didn't become a fan until kind of the mainstream wrestling
Right.
fan base became aware of him, of course, in WWE. But I did become a fan of him pretty quickly, and of course, like for a lot of people, I hate to sound like a bandwagon jumper, but of course, that pipe bomb promo really
Oh,
kind of. I mean,
yeah.
I was already into him, but that moment really kind of made me very very intrigued, very interested, and I liked that there seemed to be some genuine character development there where, because I talked about, like I was talking about last week, character development. He's one of the first people who they seem to really, he seemed to really have layers to him and be very interesting just beyond sort of this character that you see on television. And very quickly he became someone who, I think he's great in the ring. I think he has really strong matches, but also he's on a very short list of people who, if they have a microphone in their hand, I really want to hear what he has to say, because no matter what, it's going to be compelling. It just is. And there's a realness to him and a rawness to him.
There
And,
is.
I became quite, and he's probably my favorite now. Like, I have my all-time favorites and my current favorites. And I think, my all-time favorites is, Macho Man Randy Savage is my number one. Bret the Hitman Hart's my number two. But I'd say as far as current favorites in WWE right now, it probably would be CM Punk. So,
I think what makes him so likable is that there's genuineness with him, that no matter what he says, he believes,
mhm,
whether it's in character or not. He genuinely believes it. He believes he is the best in the world,
mhm,
and no one can tell him different.
yeah,
He believes that. Shockingly enough, and I think he does such a great job of communicating things to that fans want to say, but feel like we can't say,
mhm,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
He has called himself the voice of the voiceless, and he really is, in a sense that he does say the things we say on social media
mhm,
and on in other avenues about what's wrong with wrestling and why we're upset. But he has the platform to communicate that.
yeah,
Um, I heard so many fans say,
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I want I want the WWE ice cream bars back.
right,
Way before CM Punk made it a thing.
yeah,
How I got involved in following him is, there was a time, and I don't know if you're aware of this or remember it, Matt, where Impact Wrestling, now it's called TNA, it was originally TNA Wrestling.
yes,
And it was a weekly pay-per-view show.
I remember that was their early business model. Yeah,
And I remember they had Raven, and Raven had two individuals called The Gathering. It was CM Punk and Julio De Niro. And what I recall is the name CM Punk rang a bell with me because via the dirt sheets and tape traders, I had learned about this guy who had this individual who in Indiana had a 93-minute 2 out of 3 falls match
Hmm.
with Chris Hero. Wrestling fans may know him as Cassius Ono.
Yeah.
And they tore the house down. And so that event was called When Hero Met Punk. And I would dare say it is probably the highest selling IWA Mid-South event of all time.
Wow.
In regards to tapes and DVDs. I mean, they still print it on Smart Mark Video. Despite IWA Mid-South being run by one of the biggest garbage promoters known to man, Ian Rotten, which I feel compelled to add, Ian Rotten still owes me $150 because we'll talk about Ian maybe sometime,
Sure.
but
Sure.
he's known for the Taipei Death Match, which is, if you're an ECW guy, that is a match where two individuals take their fist, dip them in glue, and then roll them in broken glass.
Oh God.
It was brutal. It was bloody, and that's what he's known for.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, that's Ian. Unfortunately. So lost my train of thought, sorry. But that's where I heard about CM Punk.
Yeah.
And then it was starting to watch him, and this is around the time his feud with Raven had really kicked off in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So it was quite the dichotomy. You had him in a feud with Raven in Ring of Honor, but they were partners in TNA wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting.
And I remember watching Ring of Honor tapes, and I'm like, man, this guy is good. And I went to Davenport, Iowa to see him wrestle AJ Styles for an independent wrestling show. And why I'm bringing up this story is this just shows how amazing CM Punk is and what he can do. You know, AJ was a big name then. And if you put AJ on the card, people came.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into the weeds a little bit here. Fans, listeners, anytime you go to an independent wrestling show and you walk in the door and buy your ticket, and the person that takes your money tells you so-and-so is not going to appear because of travel issues. Generally, travel issues means pay dispute.
Yeah.
And pay dispute means they are owed money for past shows. I walked in, I paid for my ticket, and the lady goes, we need to inform you that AJ Styles is not appearing due to missing his flight. Well, knowing what I knew about Ian Rotten, that that he was involved with this promotion with two guys known as the Evil Brothers, who are great guys, just great guys. Can't say anything negative about them. But Ian, I had heard rumors from wrestlers, because I knew some of the wrestlers, and not big name guys, but indie guys that worked a lot of Iowa shows. That Ian owed AJ Styles over $5,000 for past appearances.
Yeah.
And AJ said he needed to be paid a number, in advance
Yeah.
to show and didn't. So the show starts and CM Punk comes out and they say to start the show, they're going to have a battle royale for who meets Ring of Honor star CM Punk in the main event.
Yeah.
CM Punk comes out, and in the span of a 5-minute promo, not only gets the audience invested in this battle royal, but you almost forgot AJ Styles wasn't going to show up.
Yeah.
And the person who won the battle royal, a great Midwest wrestling talent, anarchist Derek Cannon, won. And then Punk comes out and cuts another promo, putting this main event over, putting this young man over. And their match was amazing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, no one was talking about AJ Styles.
Yeah. Huh.
It was so after that show, I was all in on CM Punk, and that
Yeah.
was in 2004.
Yeah.
And then I want to say 2 months later, I was in Chicago Ridge, Illinois for Joe versus Punk 2, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor championship on the line, and they wrestled to their second 60-minute draw.
Yeah.
And not a single person was sitting down
Yeah, I can imagine.
for
Yeah.
60 minutes.
Yeah. Huh.
Just shows the amazing talent that he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When he got to WWE, how did you feel about how, as someone who had watched him really from the beginning, how did you feel about how he was being used in WWE? Did you think they were doing right by him? Did you think he had a big upside there, or what? Like how are you feeling at that point about the trajectory of his career and how they were handling him?
I won $20 because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was I told one of my then friends, because he hated CM Punk,
Yeah.
was very anti CM Punk.
Why?
Just
Any particular reason, or just didn't like him?
well, some would say it was CM Punk did his job. This guy loved to drink, and CM Punk's promos in Ring of Honor were very inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
Like people when he came to WWE, he did the Straight Edge Society
Yeah.
thing, and that was actually just watered down from things he did in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I mean, he would go out into the crowd before one of my favorite promos he cuts. He goes basically he's facing Raven in a dog collar match, and he takes the mic and he goes and his first words are to the crowd, "How does it feel to be in a building that doesn't serve alcohol? Are you sad? Are you getting the shakes?"
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing pretty good because I'm drug free, I'm alcohol free, and I'm better than you.
Yeah.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
But that's old hat, right? Me being better than you and all. And you're just like, they had Ring of Honor shirts, and I used to own it, and it kills me that it got lost.
Yeah.
On the front, it had arms throwing up the X symbol, and it said, "I'm better than you."
Yeah.
And he goes, "It's all old hat by now." Danny Doring from ECW is in the crowd, and he goes, "You probably had to buy a ticket. You'll have to drink another 6-pack of courage before you step into my ring."
Yeah.
And you're just like, "Oh man." And he's just, the crowd was hot.
Yeah.
He could have wrestled Hitler that night, and that crowd was going to cheer for Hitler.
Mm.
I mean, and that's what makes a great heel is they can
Mhm.
say things that hit you.
Yeah.
And he just hated CM Punk.
Yeah.
So when he debuted on when he left for WWE, and I was there for his last Ring of Honor show in Chicago.
Yeah.
And there were so many people just crying.
Yeah.
He was crying when he walked out.
Yeah.
I mean, just an amazing moment. The fire marshals were turning people away at this rec center in Chicago,
Yeah.
saying no more. We can't. I would say 80% of the people had various Ring of Honor CM Punk shirts on.
Yeah.
Just an amazing night, and just he deserved more, if
Mhm.
I'm being honest. But just was so awesome. The next night TNA had a pay-per-view, and just my friend, "Oh, he ain't never gonna make it, tattooed idiot. Look at him.
Mm.
I'm straight edge. Let me throw up an X."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'll make you a bet right now
Uh-huh.
that within a year, CM Punk will be on a WWF pay-per-view." And he's like, "Yeah, how much?" And I told him, I'm like, "I'll $100." And he goes, "No, because if someone stubs their toe, they'll bring him on."
Right.
So we settled on 20 in dinner.
Yeah.
Now, why that's important is within that year, CM Punk appeared on WrestleMania in Chicago
Oh.
as one of the gangsters that accompanied John Cena to the ring.
Yep.
So I took a picture of it on my camera phone
Yep.
and showed it to him. "It doesn't count. He's on a WWF pay-per-view. It counts.
Yep.
You
Yep.
didn't say he had to be in a match."
Right.
So yeah, I won dinner and $20 off that.
Yeah.
But overall, I have so many CM Punk stories
Mm.
that I I I didn't like it. One, they had him on ECW and chasing on the same show where they had aliens and vampires.
Mhm.
I loved his opening promo. I loved everything about him, but I was like, he's going to get lost in the shuffle. And
Yeah.
it was very close. He almost did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then he won Money in the Bank and won the world title, which then I was like, oh man, they gave him the belt.
Yeah.
And then they took it away from him without him even losing it.
Right.
And I was like, I was heartbroken because I'm like, are you kidding me? You're gonna have him get jumped by Sim Snuka, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase,
Mm.
and that's how he's gonna lose this title?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, and I was mad. I think what makes pro wrestling great is when the fans get emotionally invested into a wrestler.
Well, yeah.
And
That's the whole
I'm
point,
a
really.
Exactly. And CM Punk is one of the guys I am emotionally invested in.
Yeah.
So it sucked when that happened.
Yeah.
And I actually tuned out of WWE for quite some time
Yeah.
because of that. Until the next year at WrestleMania, he won Money in the Bank again.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then whatever happened, but then the pipe bomb happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was one of those situations where I was like, I didn't see it live. One of my buddies from Davenport, that's an indie wrestler, contacted me on Facebook and is like, dude, did you see the promo Punk cut? No, I didn't.
Mm.
And I watched it and I was like, immediately, I went and ordered the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to see this. I got to see what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I loved everything they did. And again, they took another storyline from Ring of Honor during that Summer of Punk.
Mm-hmm.
They took his Ring of Honor called it the Summer of Punk.
Oh, okay.
Because it was supposed to be CM Punk's last night in Ring of Honor, and he
Yeah.
was facing Austin Aries for the ROH World title. No way would CM Punk win.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk wins, and then cuts a promo turning heel, saying he's taking the belt with him to WWE. Throughout that summer, he does things. He actually 100% signed his WWF contract on the Ring of Honor title.
Oh.
He cheated to get out of wins and losses, to get out of losses. He would come out and challenge guys that weren't even in the building,
Mm-hmm.
that were in Japan. Like one night he said, Bryan Danielson, let's give them the match that they want to see. Bryan Danielson was competing for All Japan that
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
And Ring of Honor had the fan base, the smarks, that knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And so instant heat on him.
Yeah.
Or he would challenge guys that had signed elsewhere, had signed exclusive contracts with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe he challenged another Ring of Honor guy. He challenged Christian Cage.
Yeah.
But those are, again, those are things that he does that even though he's done them before, he still draws you in
Right.
and gets you invested.
Right. Right. Yep. Yeah, and then it was, a couple years after the pipe bomb, he left. That was a very interesting period.
I actually became a CM Punk detractor because of that.
Oh, when he walked out on the company? Interesting.
Yes. I never expected Punk to do that.
Yeah.
I thought he loved the business, but then I listened to his appearance on Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling.
Oh yeah, fascinating. I listened to the whole thing twice. Fascinating.
I think it's still saved to my YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
Just you're like, man. And then you sympathize with him,
Mm-hmm.
but as a fan, you're still mad because you're like, I'm never gonna get to see him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do what I love seeing him do.
Yeah.
And yes, you're sitting there, and of course you're like, he's unhappy. I get it.
Yeah.
But you're like sitting there and you hurt for him
Mhm.
because you
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Everything he said about I should have been the main event
Yeah.
against The Miz in
Yeah.
Atlanta,
Yeah.
not John Cena. I should have been the main event with The Undertaker
Mm-hmm.
that year. Or
Mhm.
it should have been a triple threat with The Rock, Cena, and Punk.
Yeah.
That's all true. And
Yeah.
yes, his match with The Undertaker is probably other than the Cell match, other than the 2 matches with Shawn
Mhm.
and the Cell match with Hunter, that Punk match, damn, that might be Undertaker's last great match.
Mm.
Is his match with Punk.
Yeah.
And knowing and hearing in that interview what he worked through in that match, a torn meniscus, a hip that Ryback had messed up,
Mm-hmm.
just various things.
Yeah.
And you're like, I get it. I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then he goes to UFC, and that of course went badly for him. But in my mind, and I know I've heard him say this, of course, and I think I get where he's coming from. He doesn't like to consider that a failure, because that's a pretty big goal to fight in the UFC. And he did it. He did it twice, and no one can take that away from him. It didn't go in neither case did it go very well for him. Right. But he did it. I mean, I have tremendous respect for him just for doing it, just for going for it, and being able to being willing to risk the embarrassment, if it didn't go well, and it didn't go well, but he still held his head high, and I have enormous respect for him for that.
I mean, at the time, again, my fanboy face showed.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it.
Really?
I'm like, how dare you? You don't deserve to be in the UFC. You haven't earned it. There are kids that are away from their families for 6 weeks trying to earn this right.
Yeah.
Who the F do you think you are?
Yeah.
But then again, you're sitting there and you're like, how many times have I, or any of us, not just me, I don't have many regrets in my life, but how many times have we shied away from doing something because it scares us?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Something we really want to do. How
Right.
can you not be scared going into a cage to be punched in the face by someone?
Right. Yeah.
And yet he did it because it was a goal.
Yeah.
Again, kudos to him for doing it.
Yeah.
It didn't go like he planned.
No.
It
It almost could not have gone worse in that sense.
I mean,
But well, it could have. I mean, he could have
but,
been seriously injured nothing too bad.
but at the end of the day, there are others at fault for that too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not all on CM Punk.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to Joe Rogan, it is, but hey, Joe, Dana signed the contract.
Yep. Yeah.
Dana offered the contract.
Yeah.
The match was booked by the UFC. It was put on pay-per-view.
Right.
So there are others at fault here than just CM Punk.
Right. Right.
And who here isn't going to take an opportunity to make I don't have what he was paid in front of me, 25 to 50 grand to get punched in the face.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
Like, if you say you wouldn't take that, you're either A, scared, B, stupid, or C, lying.
Yeah. Or D, you just already have plenty of money and don't need to be punched in the face.
I don't care. 50 grand is 50
Oh yeah,
grand.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
shit.
Um and so then years go by, a couple years go by, and next thing you know, he's you've got this startup promotion, AEW, and not too long into its existence, there's CM Punk finding his passion for wrestling again and joining AEW, and what was a pretty cool moment that night in Chicago.
My cousin Austin was actually there.
Oh, no kidding. He was there. Yeah.
He was there live. I wish he could have joined us for this one,
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't. When you look at in all of Punk's quote unquote big moments, that I've been there for, I theoretically should have been there for that one, but
Yeah.
was not.
Yeah.
But I was very excited.
Hmm.
Even though I was a little let down by who his first feud was going to be with.
Yeah.
But I think his feud with MJF was amazing.
I thought that was excellent. Yes.
To get there was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I just think he, and even his match with Darby was
Mhm.
excellent.
Yeah.
His matches at AEW, it was like, damn, this
Yep.
guy is in his mid 40s. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm in my early 40s, and when I wake up, it's like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. This guy is out putting 5-star matches together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like I said earlier, though, these days, 40 is when these guys are in their prime. It's kind of
And,
weird. Maybe it's
and
human growth hormone. I don't know, but
no, here's the deal with CM Punk. I've heard people say to me that watch wrestling, oh, he really does drugs and drinks. And I'm like, no, he
no.
doesn't.
Nope.
No. And they're like, how do you know? There were a couple times, because of the guys I knew from Iowa, that we would go to where they were at
Hmm.
after a Ring of Honor in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's CM Punk drinking Pepsi or cranberry juice
Yeah. We would
at
hear
the
about it
bar.
if it was all a facade and he really was drinking, and
I mean, the guy
we'd hear about it.
CM Punk fractured his skull in the Indies
Yes.
and fought. And there are others who have corroborated this story
Hmm.
that yes, this is true. This is factual. The doctor tried to give him pain pills and he swung at the doctor
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
avoid this needle and giving him the pain medicine he needed,
Yep.
because
Yep.
he fractured his damn skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, to further exemplify his love of the business, he was back 4 months later.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Like, how many of us have that passion towards something we do?
Right.
Matt, you have that passion for your media endeavors.
Hmm.
I have that passion towards stuff I do.
Yeah.
But man, he fractured his flipping skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I have split my head open and thought I was gonna die. Could you imagine being at a rec center and
Yeah.
fracturing your skull and finishing the match?
Yeah.
And then your first match back, going out there and doing the exact same move that
Yeah.
led to you
Yeah.
fracturing your skull.
That is commitment.
Like,
Um,
just yeah, and so my point, and I'm sorry, I'm
No, it's okay.
getting way off track here today. Um, is that you? No, it's not a gimmick.
Right.
It's who he is.
Yeah.
It's what he is.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so timeless
Yeah.
and such a one. He's on my Mount Rushmore,
Mm,
believe it or not,
yeah.
because everything he says and does comes from a degree of truth and realness.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is what you need to do to connect to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And he does that.
One of the things now you, despite obviously being a very big fan of his, you're not afraid to criticize or uh, question things that maybe moments in his career that you don't agree with. So I'm curious to hear what you think about. I thought that moment, and I understand with wrestling, a lot of these moments have a way of in the long term working out for the best. And his whole AEW misadventure, if we want to call it that, in the end worked out for the best. Look at how everything happened. At least for him, it certainly did, and for WWE, it certainly did. But that moment where the infamous scrum after a pay-per-view event where he just totally went in on everybody. I thought that was, and for people who don't know, it was a shoot. Like he wasn't doing this in
Oh,
character or anything. He went in on
look
everybody.
at
And
look at
with
Tony Khan's
with
face.
Tony Khan sitting there next to him, and fascinating to watch. I watched it twice, but it is something I will criticize him for. Again, even though being a big CM Punk fan, I thought he was unprofessional, and I thought what he did. And by the way, he's even acknowledged that if he had it to do over again, he probably shouldn't have done it. I think in his interview that he did with when Ariel Helwani had him on the last time, I think Punk admitted that that probably he didn't handle that correctly in hindsight. But he for him to like just throw everybody under the bus like that and to embarrass Tony Khan like that, who clearly had no idea how to even handle what was happening in
Tony
front of
Khan
him.
doesn't know how to handle a cheese grater.
Well,
Like,
regardless of what any of us might think about him, though, he didn't deserve that, in my opinion. And I thought Punk was way out of line. Again, compelling content, but I thought what he did was wrong. And what do you think?
okay, I'm going to agree with you in principle
Yeah,
on the unprofessional.
yeah.
What I am going to say is this is anytime there's a former best friend involved,
Mm-hmm.
there's emotions.
And you're talking about Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana,
And
of course, was working
I
there.
do know Colt.
You do? Okay.
We're not best friends or buddies, but I have associated with Cabana.
Okay.
I have been at get-togethers Cabana has been at. Um, uh, sh- in a 7 degrees of bacon kind of way, the reporter that started this, Nick Houseman, I worked with him on WrestlingInc.com.
Oh, I
Nick
didn't know that.
Houseman, yes, Nick Houseman was my boss.
I'll be damned. See, I never knew this. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fascinating. You've been holding out on me. I didn't know that.
Nick Houseman was my boss.
Okay.
And when I heard Nick answer the question, I perked up because knowing Phil, like I know Phil, and knowing Nick, like I knew Nick,
Mm-hmm.
I knew things were because Nick had told me during my interview he didn't talk to Cabana anymore.
Yeah, because he said that to CM Punk because Punk was and this I thought I didn't like that Punk did this either. I thought this was unfair. But when he said to Nick Houseman, well, aren't you friends with a certain individual? And did he mention Cabana by name? I don't think he did, but And then,
No,
and putting Nick Hausman in that position of it. And Hausman said, well, not anymore. We don't see eye to eye, I think were his exact words. But I thought Punk
and
was out of line there too. But
well, Nick did the best he could in that situation.
I felt badly for him. Yeah. I felt sympathy
Nick
for Nick
knew
Hausman.
his goose was cooked
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
Nick lives in Chicago.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah, Nick Hausman, and I'm sorry if Nick hears this and he's upset by that. Last I knew, Nick lived in Chicago. Certainly when I worked with with WrestlingInc.com.
Yeah.
Nick doesn't work with them anymore. He runs his own thing, House of Wrestling, does a
Yeah.
great job.
Yeah.
Raj Giri was the owner of the website, but Nick was like the managing editor. But look, I know Scott Colton. And
For those who don't know, that's Colt Cabana's real name.
I know very, very not as I talked to Ace a couple of times, Ace Steele, another player in all of this.
Yeah.
Because he trained both Punk and Cabana. So my heart goes out to Ace because in a way he's born between these two. I will say Scott Colton, in the times I've associated with him, his comedy character.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Isn't an act. That is Scott Colton. It's a caricature. It's a blown out caricature. But it's Scott Colton. It's who he is. He is a goofball. CM Punk is very straight-laced and very to the point and can be gruff. I have seen him be gruff. And in the times I've seen it, I will say almost every time it's been deserved.
Yeah.
Like someone overstepped a boundary that they shouldn't have.
Okay.
Like at the Chicago Rec Center, CM Punk's taking a leak and a guy is asking for an autograph.
Yeah. No,
that's like, bro, come on.
Did Punk turn and pee on him?
No. Punk was very direct about what he had. Had in his shoes probably would have ended up on eBay. The guy probably would have sold the shoes. No. How Punk handled it was he was very direct with what he had in his hands at that point in time. And
yeah.
And it was like, and the guy's like, what an asshole, and walked out of the bathroom. Like you only went into the bathroom because you saw CM Punk go in there. More than likely because the bathroom in the locker room was occupied, and so was the private one behind the souvenir stand. So you just went in there. Like, I even, there were 3 stalls. Punk, stall, me. I just nodded at him. And what do you even do?
Right.
I mean, he knows I'm a fan. I'm wearing his t-shirt. I'm not going to bother the guy while he's taking a leak.
Yeah. But that night of the scrum, I mean,
we'll get back. I'm really sorry, man.
Yeah, that's okay. But
the night of the scrum is, people need to understand that Punk is very big into doing what's best for the business.
Mm-hmm.
If it is best for CM Punk to, he said this in his shoot interview, jump in a pool of rusty razors naked,
Mm-hmm.
he'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's best for business is a story. Dave Meltzer, I believe it was Meltzer, said that CM Punk got Colt Cabana pushed to Ring of Honor from AEW.
Right.
When CM Punk didn't, because why would he?
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense. And then you look at it, the Bucks are fans with Cabana.
Mm-hmm.
You couple that with Hangman Adam Page being grossly unprofessional and going into business for himself
Mm-hmm.
on live television. And now this, and look, I'm a firm believer in CM Punk shouldn't have even been at that press conference because
Yeah.
he was injured.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably not the best time to have him there.
Right. Right.
And I think a lot of people forget that. He had a major injury. He was hurt, he was in pain, and
Yeah.
he worked with effing children.
Yeah. That's his
Um,
words. Yeah.
and that's true.
Yeah.
So, but any time it's a former relationship that was very close, raw emotions come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the minute that was brought up, I'm like, this is going to be must-see TV.
Yeah.
Here we go. And sure enough, to Punk's credit or detriment, he did not disappoint.
Yeah. So yeah, so he's injured at that point, and then I think he has to go away for a while to heal up, and then when he comes back, so then they work out this whole thing where he's going to be on this other show. That's right, because after the scrum there was the fight backstage. You mentioned Ace
Yeah,
Steel earlier, and
brawl out.
brawl out, and
Yeah. Look, I'm going to shock you, I think, or I may not. I'm on Punk's side on brawl out. You are EVPs. Whether or not that's just a title or not,
yeah,
you cannot confront him right after that.
yeah,
That is their fault. You know he's pissed. You know he's injured. You know he's not happy. There is no good that's going to come out of you going to his dressing room.
right, yeah,
None.
and we may
At
never.
that point, you're executives.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're held to a different standard than
right,
talent.
yeah,
This isn't we're going to give him the opportunity to take a shot at us.
yeah,
No. This is you looking for a problem.
yeah. Yeah, and we may never know all the. We'll probably never know all the little details
No.
about what happened during that confrontation.
I believe Punk alluded to it on the Hawani podcast that there's NDAs
Yeah,
that they can't.
yeah,
Tough spot for everyone to be in that situation. Again, you're EVPs. You cannot go and confront him. You
yeah,
leave that up to Tony Khan and the other executives to deal with that. I mean, and let's be real. If you're looking at CM Punk in a fight against Nick and Matt Jackson and Kenny Omega, this is a trained MMA fighter. He's gonna kill you guys.
yeah,
Like, what are you doing?
yeah. So then he goes away for a while. He's got an injury anyway. So then when he finally comes back, they have this other show, Collision, that is going to kind of be his show to keep him away from the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page.
We're forgetting a key. No, it's not a key part yet. I'm going through the timeline in my head.
Oh, okay.
And the key part is coming.
Yeah. So on that show, Jack Perry is on that show, and he wants to do a spot involving real glass where I think he's going to be put through a windshield with real glass. And Punk tells him, no, we're not doing that.
It's a rent-a-car.
It's a rent-a-car. Yeah, a rental. And Punk says, no, we can't do that. It's too dangerous. Plus, we're never going to be able to rent a car from that company again. That's stupid. It doesn't need to be real glass. You should be using sugar glass. It won't hurt you. Which is, glass that's designed to break, for people who don't know, safely. So apparently Jack Perry had a big problem with that. And that was a whole argument. And
right. And I'm going to, who the hell is Jack Perry?
Well, I mean, he is the son of Luke Perry. I like Jack Perry, and the dude's got great hair, but but yeah, I mean, he probably should have just
that's our barometer now.
Oh, I've always respected people with great hair, but
that's our okay.
Well, for me, I mean, if somebody's got great hair, I think it should be acknowledged, and I think they should be praised for that, at least, if nothing else. I mean, look at the dude's hair. But
if you have $1 million hairdo on a 10-cent brain, what's it matter?
Well, I mean, but that's still $1 million hairdo. I mean, this hair is incredible. But so they have a disagreement about that. And then that comes back around when they have the big show at Wembley Stadium. And
oh boy,
somebody, I don't remember who it was now. There was a backstage brawl staged. This one was staged, of course, part of the storyline, but somebody goes to put Jack Perry into the windshield of a car. I don't remember who it was, though. Who was he fighting with? I can't remember now.
I don't know. It was on the pre-show.
It was on the pre-show, yes. And
I think we need to, I want to interject, Matt. There's a couple things that happened here that did not help at all in any of this. One, the Bucks and Punk were supposed to meet in Atlanta.
Yeah.
To hash out their differences.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, Bucks canceled. And I could be wrong on this part. Punk was already in Atlanta.
That's what I had read. Yeah.
That they canceled at the last minute.
Yeah.
And that pissed Punk off because he's away. And those who know CM Punk, he loves his wife, AJ Lee, April. I don't want to botch her last name. I think it's Menendez.
I think it's Mendez.
Well, now I would assume Brooks, but they are, all intents and purposes, very happy together. And his dog Larry, who he loved to death, and he just hates being away from them. So, to be fair, he took time away from his family to fly to Atlanta to meet with the Bucks.
Yeah.
And then they at the last minute cancel.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Wembley.
Yeah.
Well, he gets to London.
Yeah.
And while in London, he basically does he gets there and there's no car service.
Right.
Which sucks because he doesn't even know where his hotel is.
Yeah.
And he can't get an Uber because what do you use to get an Uber?
Yep.
Cell phone, not going to work internationally.
Yeah.
So he has to take the train with fans and he's carrying all of his luggage.
Yep.
And then it's, well, you have to arrange that. No, stupid. You have to arrange that, Tony.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like
That's
WWE would never let anything like that happen to their
right.
talent. Unbelievable.
Thank you. Could you imagine John Cena waiting in Brussels for a car?
Yeah, wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen.
Like, what are you doing? So,
Yeah.
yeah, those are two things that really, really, in look, you can say, oh, well, deal with it. No, don't deal with it. Those are two very unprofessional things.
Yeah.
And on top of that, after Brawl Out, CM Punk had said, just let me go.
Yeah.
Fire me. This
Yeah.
isn't going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, to his benefit, he tried. Like, he knew this wasn't going to work. And there will be people that will say, well, he meant for it not to work. No, there are some times you just know it's not going to work.
Yeah. So then there's the incident during the pre-show. Somebody puts Jack Perry into the windshield of a car, and then Jack Perry, instead of selling that he's hurt, he says he looks right into the camera and says, "Real glass, deal with it." Which obviously a shot at Punk.
No, real glass, go cry about it.
Oh, that's what it was. Go cry about it. Yeah. Oh no, he wasn't that. I remember now. He said, "Cry me a river."
Yes,
He
yes,
said,
yes.
"Real glass, cry me a river," which obviously was directed at Punk, which was certainly unprofessional on Jack Perry's part. And that led to the confrontation backstage that we saw between the two of them. Well, we didn't see the actual video of it until much later, but we heard all about it. And they had a bit of a tussle. I believe Punk put Perry in a front face lock at one point. And,
after Jack, and this is another like fact here. Jack Perry charged at him.
yeah,
CM Punk was not the instigator here.
yeah,
CM Punk went up to him and said, what's your problem, Jack?
yeah.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And then Jack said something along the lines of, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Which he may have luscious locks that Mac just fawns over.
He has great hair.
But in no realm of reality could Jack Perry kick CM Punk's ass.
Right.
No one would look at this and be like, oh, I think Jack Perry's got a shot.
Yeah.
No, Jack Perry would have his arm snapped in half.
Yeah.
Or his neck broke or something. And to charge at CM Punk, you know what? I love what Jim Cornette said. Jack Perry's lucky he walked back with teeth.
Yeah. So then they have their tussle. Tony Khan feared for his life, the whole thing. And then,
dear God.
And then that was it, right? What was it? Within 24 hours?
A week.
Tony Khan. What did it take a week? Tony Khan announced that CM Punk was fired for cause.
For cause. And here's another thing. Tony, you feared for your life. You know what? Let me scratch that from the record.
Bit dramatic on his part.
He probably did fear for his life. This is a guy who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He has never seen anything resembling a real fight.
Yeah.
So CM Punk yelling at him saying, I effing quit, or whatever he said.
Told him he was a clown. Yeah.
Yeah. This is not a business.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably did fear for his life.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Punk gets fired. And then he shows up. Well, of course, as soon as Punk's gone, the rumors start. But then he finally shows up in Chicago at Survivor Series back in WWE.
Yeah, I loved it. I heard about it and I'm like, you never say never.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You never say never.
Yeah.
But my caveat was, and it's going to come off as if I think I'm prophetic or something. I'm like, I was telling people the way this has to work is him and Triple H have to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot said. And
Yes.
I mean,
But
there was a lot said.
oh yeah.
And to Hunter's credit, he said something, and I've put it in my memory banks to use in my life going forward. He said, if you're the same as you were 10 years ago, then the last 10 years have been a waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm the same as I was 10 years ago, the last 10 years have been a waste. And it just kind of sums up how dumb it is to hold grudges.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like people grow, people change.
Yes.
And you know what? Triple H is one of my all-time favorites.
Me too.
I've always,
He's a New Hampshire guy. He's from Nashua, New Hampshire originally.
I
Yeah.
I know this.
Yeah.
Love Triple H.
Yeah.
I people ridicule him and say negative things about him. Again, a moment that I'm proud to be a part of. I was live for his first world championship win.
Yeah.
It was in Ames, Iowa, the night after SummerSlam '99. He pinned Mankind at Iowa State University.
Yeah.
And I mean, but for him, after everything that was said about him, to say, you know what? Clean slate.
I think something that might have helped that, and just and we should start to wind down soon. We've been on a long time,
Yeah.
but I just one little detail that we shouldn't gloss over, because I think people forget about this. When all that turmoil was happening, when CM Punk was still under contract with AEW, he did pay a visit to a live WWE event to say hi to some friends backstage, something he had not done before. And apparently there was a moment where he did have a conversation with Triple H, albeit brief. And Vince McMahon, when he got wind about it, that Punk was in the building, he said, he's got to go. And everybody at the time said, oh, Vince is still mad at him. Vince doesn't want him around. Vince is still mad at him. I have my own theory about that. I think Vince got wind that Punk was in the building. And if he knew anything about the turmoil going on with Punk and AEW, Vince said, shit, we're going to get sued for contract tampering.
Yup.
Get him out.
Absolutely.
Get him out.
Yeah,
but I also think it's entirely possible that during that brief conversation that Punk had with Triple H, Punk might have said something like, yeah, boy, I'm stuck at AEW, but I sure would love to come back here someday. And then Triple H might have said something like, well, if you ever do happen to become available, we'd sure love to have you. And, I don't know if that happened or not. I'm just saying it could have. And if those kinds of words were exchanged, seeds may have been planted. And like I said, and then, Vince gets wind of it and says, no, you got to get him out because he's still under contract to AEW. We can't have him. This is going to look really bad.
Matt, that's what I felt when I read about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no bad blood there.
Right.
They got to get him the hell out.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep in mind, too, Tony Khan had sued WWE for tampering.
Yes.
And
exactly.
so, yeah. No, I never looked at it as bad blood.
No,
I think if there was bad blood, Punk wouldn't have shown up.
exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, I want to say this. I think with your with your theoretical conversation, and I used air quotes there.
Hmm.
I think that conversation took place with Nick Khan.
Oh, that's a good point. That could have very well happened.
I
That
think
makes
it
that makes
happened
sense.
because all the accounts I have read is it was very brief between him and Hunter,
Hmm.
but Hunter did say, "We're good, but you can't be here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think those two words, "we're good," was the catalyst.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because originally, when Punk did the Fox show,
Hmm.
he wanted to come back then.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
But
forgot about
but
that. Yeah.
but Vince was no,
Yeah.
nope, we're not doing it. For whatever reason. Who knows? And
Yeah.
look, there were mistakes, I think, on both sides.
Hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, CM Punk is where he needs to be.
Yeah.
He's in
Yep.
WWE. He is successful.
Yep.
He's respected.
Yep.
He's loved. He's adulated. I look. He is the one of the greatest of the 21st century.
Hmm.
And if anyone disagrees with that, you look at his body of work. He has done it everywhere.
Hmm.
Indies, ECW, WWE, AEW. He just does banger after banger. Someone tell me, I challenge our listeners. Comment, look me up on Facebook even, send me a message.
Hmm.
Tell me a bad CM Punk match.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me. And tell me he's the reason why it was bad.
Right. Yeah.
Because I said it in our first episode, it takes two to dance.
Yes. Yes.
That's what makes him great. Is CM, you go into the ring with CM Punk, you are a better wrestler and a better talent after than you were before.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
And that's what makes him great. And everything he says, he believes. That's why the fans love him.
Yeah.
That's why we are drawn to him. That is why we are captivated by him. Because we know that he is like the everyman's pro wrestler.
Hmm.
He isn't ashamed of who he is, what he is. He goes into work, he does his job, and if he gets screwed over, you damn right he's going to say something about it.
That's right.
Like when he got screwed over at Elimination Chamber.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Or screwed over
Yeah.
at Elimination
In
Chamber.
storyline. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, people can say, oh, they scripted out what he was going to say. No way in hell. I guarantee you, Triple H said, you have 10 minutes
Oh, yeah.
and a live mic. Go.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And, 9 times out of 10, what he says, us, the fans, feel it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we're like, damn, thank you, Punk. Thank you. Like, he's just, I mean, he is the best in the world. And he has been the best in the world for over 20 years. And you can throw other names out there if you want. During that time frame, you can throw Orton, Cena, Rollins, Reigns. Yeah, they're good,
Hmm.
but they're not the best. And that's what I feel about CM Punk.
Well, very good. I think that's probably a great way to cap the CM Punk discussion this week. Do you want to offer a teaser for what the subject is next week on the show?
Oh boy, we are going into the Eric Pilcher memory banks, a show that I was in attendance for
Yeah.
here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. NWO presents Sold Out. We are going to discuss it. Matt, you've never seen this.
I never subjected myself to it. No.
I
But I
mean,
remember it.
oh,
But I remember it.
oh man, oh man, yeah. I remember when I was there live. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it has not aged well. The smarter you become in the business,
Yeah.
and to know, I believe, like, people point at Starrcade '97 as being the beginning of the end of WCW. I think it started 11 months earlier
Ah.
with Sold Out.
Okay.
I think this is when the you started to see that maybe there isn't a rudder,
Yeah.
and we'll get into why. And
Yeah.
and it has one of the worst beauty pageants of all time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, very good. Very good. So,
Yeah. But yeah, I think I've enjoyed talking about this show. I want to
yes.
doing this episode. I apologize that I went into the woods quite a bit, but again, this is having me do a podcast about CM Punk is like asking Matt to do a podcast about Kiss.
Yeah.
Like, where I'm even wearing a CM Punk shirt
Yes.
as we're doing this. Like,
Yes.
where do you go with this? Like,
Mhm.
just so many great moments.
Yeah.
I could go on. I would advise any of you to go find his Ring of Honor matches on YouTube. They're there.
Yeah.
His feud with Raven, his trilogy with Samoa Joe, even his string of John Cena matches in 2013 for WWE.
Yeah. Those are
Just
good. Yeah.
some of the best matches Cena has had.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
You want a guy that every night just busts his butt for you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him go out and give a great match with 30 people in attendance.
Yeah.
And that's why CM Punk needs to be respected, because he doesn't give a damn.
Mm.
You paid to see CM Punk. You are going to get the absolute best of the best in the world that you absolutely can.
Yes. Yes. I agree. All right. So we will wrap up episode 2 of Tough Bumps.
Episode 2, and next week we'll trudge through it. We will, Matt. You're gonna have to, like, direct message me as you watch this.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm gonna want your thoughts in real time.
Yeah.
Of
right.
this. It's a happening. Let me tell you.
All right. I will do that.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
But this has been great. And I would like to invite our listeners, our fans, or even our detractors, including one individual in New York,
Mm-hmm.
to drop us a line if you have an idea. If you think I suck, if you think Matt doesn't suck, but whatever you think, let us know.
Yes. All right. Very good. Very good. Episode 2 in the books. Tough Bumps. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Matt.
Woo! God's name.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.